Alrighty, welcome fam. We're gonna do an interesting show today and go into some cool topics in the SSP, Montauk, Psionics, targeting individuals, Milab, and whatever else we can glean from this special guest we have on today. His name is John Whitberg. Can you tell the audience a little bit about yourself, and then we can go into like how you got into this and who you are and all that, and then I'll set up as people gather for the chat and stuff.
Well, my name is John. I am a pretty ordinary guy from Texas, but I've had pretty extraordinary life, I would say. And by the way, this show has been kind of a long time in coming. Sean and I have been going back and forth about how we need to do one for quite a while, and we finally did it. So glad to be here, and yeah.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. Okay, so not an ordinary person from Texas. So what does that entail? What's going on? How did you wake up into this world, and what kind of experiences have you had, so that people understand?
I'm an SSP fellow, which for people who don't know, that's Secret Space Program. And in a lot of SSP narratives, you'll hear people talk about how they got their memories back when they were, decades after the fact. I never had that luxury. I have remembered it since the moment I woke up from my first abduction when I was 6 years old. And so let me put a little bit of a very basic historical underline to all this. The Nazis didn't lose the war. What happened, rather, was that they received ET assistance, and they went first to Antarctica and then off planet in the 30s and 40s. And they were setting up colonies out off-world for a number of years until in 52 or 52, they came down and buzzed the White House in their little flying saucer type crafts, which are known as Hanabu. And one of these actually landed on the lawn of the White House, and several of these Nazi delegates and Japanese delegates, by the way, approached the president, who at that point was Truman, and made a deal. They said, "We'll leave Earth alone if you give us 150,000 German-American children every year to serve in our military and to be part of our colonies." And so in 2007, I was one of those children.
Okay. What for people out there that not fully understanding of this world, there's a lot of data that people can look up on the compartmentalized secret projects and the Nazi bell and the anti-gravity red mercury, and then going for the pedigree. It's like suing for peace kind of thing, and a cover up of the winners of World War II, because the Nazis didn't give up. They moved and went under hiding and underground. And in Argentina, they came out with Hitler didn't die. He went to Argentina, and then with the Argentinian government disclosure that happened recently, and then also our Antarctica stuff with Admiral Byrd discovering that there's UFOs down there, and then they killed a bunch of the people that they brought over there in the Admiral Byrd mission.
Yes, and by the way, Admiral Byrd's diaries are available on Amazon. You can read his testimony.
Good point. Okay, so yeah, and for people that are joining, we'll also be doing after we go into his information, we'll be accepting donations that will go to John. Like I don't know if I can do it and monitor it so it's easier for you. You can send to my PayPal, psionicleague@gmail.com if you want to ask questions and go further, and we can do SSP readings and look for things that are going on in people's field. I'd love to hear more about like what your background is and Psionics and some other stuff because I've mostly heard about you from other friends as I've also gone to the Montauk meetup is when I first found out about you, and then going forward from there. So yeah, I'd love to hear more about your information, and then people can ask questions and get readings from both of us, and then the donations will go to you to help you out in your move. And if you want to explain more about that so that people can understand what they'll be getting in both the reading and also donating to you.
Okay. Yeah, so essentially what I'm trying to do is escape my handler family, which is why I'm seeking money right now. They are emotionally abusive towards me and have me in something of a gilded prison in my own home. They don't know that I do this work, by the way. They don't know about my whistleblowing or any of that stuff. So that's why I'm seeking this assistance.
Okay. And you people have come to you for information and understanding on these topics before, right? So
Yes.
yeah, so let's kind of cover a little bit of a skeletal system of the type of things you can bring in wisdom to people, so that can add to their pull towards helping you in this time.
Okay. All right. Well, where should I start? Honestly.
Yeah, so let's just make a little exoskeleton of the kind of topics and keywords and
Okay.
things that you've gone into and have experience with, and then we can double back on
Okay.
that as we wait for people to donate, and then we'll go more in depth into people that donate and
Okay.
whatever they want to ask, I'll add to it too because I can look at people's rare emissions and sonic abilities and things that are targeting them, and
Okay.
Milab and ET abduction and other stuff. And if you guys want that, we'll be doing that today and helping you release some blocks on your abilities. And also, my big thing is reverse engineering superhuman abilities in the Psionic League. So I'd love to get go into that topic quite a bit too with you.
All right. Cool. So my background in all this begins, as I mentioned, I was 6 years old. I have a very clear core memory of laying in bed, and a portal opens in a far wall opposite in my bedroom, and through it steps a 9 foot tall blonde woman wearing a in full SS uniform. Uh, and I am levitated out of my bed through this portal and into the back of a truck. And through there, I was driven to Cheyenne Mountain Complex, as it was then called. It's now called something else. It's now the headquarters of the Space Force, openly. And it was, and so after being driven there is where I underwent program. Um, People often call it MK Ultra programming when I've described it, but it was not. It was much more modern than that. And it was essentially it was mind control programming, though, and it was creating alters in my head by way of drugs and how would you put it, like mind wiping, so that I wouldn't remember when they created a new personality and so on. However, there was not any trauma based control involved, which is why I say that it's not MK Ultra technically. And from there, my split personalities, which they created, were put into various secret programs, both on and off planet. Now, two of them were indeed put to use in the so-called Montauk Project. That's not what it's actually called. It's called Project Phoenix. And the others were put to use in many other programs. A lot of them are spies. And most of them are still active, by the way, but a lot of them are spies. Some of them are soldiers, and quite a number of them are galactic diplomats. And so I have a lot of experience with interstellar travel, with various kinds of ETs, including many, many, many species that you will not find out about in any UFO book, even the really good ones, even like the Russian UFO book that people often point to. They're not in that either. So I've seen some pretty amazing things, but on the other hand, it's made me unable to fit into this society we have here, because these topics are not exactly, kosher here.
True. Okay. So you can go into my lab, Milab, which is military abduction, Montauk, some different projects, interstellar diplomacy, Nazis,
Yeah.
Project Phoenix, SSP stuff, and ETs, and how's your experience with self experience as well as witnessing in different psionic abilities?
Well, on Earth, it's not too bad. I'm a competent remote viewer, and I'm a very, very good clairaudient.
Okay, so you go into telepathic communication with some of these beings as well?
Oh yes, yes.
Cool. Um, what kind of beings have you spoke to?
All different kinds. Everything from the standard Draco reptilians down to many, many, many other kinds of reptilians, insect aliens of all kinds, human-like creatures, aquatics, and I don't have anything to liken them.
Okay.
It's out there. There's
Go
a
ahead.
out there that is essentially a bucket of sludge with eyes and teeth that has an IQ of about 400, and they have the psionic capabilities so strong that they can pretty much warp reality around themselves.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh boy. And yeah, so people know, and I'll be monitoring that. Again, people can donate to my PayPal at sonicleague@gmail.com to help John. I'll be sending the donations to him with him getting relocated into a safer place. So it's going to a good cause, and you'll be getting a reading from both of us. And feel free to ask questions, and we'll go deep into stuff to thank people so much for donating.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so we'll again to that, and you can feel free to ask questions to answer questions. Have you witnessed different sonic abilities in the projects? I'm gonna check out the donations.
Yes, I absolutely have. Um,
What kind of things?
um, well, telepathy, telekinesis, pyrokinesis, um, jumping is the term we use in the project. That we would call it like, uh, there are some people who can open portals. Those people are the rarest. And I've used a lot of those capabilities. There have been times I was very skilled with telekinesis. I'm not really able to do it anymore now, but there was a time I was very good at it.
Yeah, I have similar things. I used to practice it a bunch when I was a teenager, and I'd get good results to the point where I could like roll cans, soda cans and stuff, and ping pong balls. And then after giving a little bit of break, I noticed that abilities and energy would be stolen from parasitically, and then I spent a lot of time figuring out how that works, and then psionic protection, and to where if the abilities feel safe in this world, it's hard to keep that going. I've noticed a lot of different things, especially with Montauk and Underground DC, uh, abducting people for emitting rare energy and then using them and training them as an asset. Can you talk a little bit about that as well as your experience with Montauk? And we got a donation from Anchor Haven of $8, so we can like do a little thing for her. She says just as general thanks, which is nice of her. But yeah, we want to promote other people donating, so we're going to give you a nice little thing for that. So tell us in the comments what you would like and for your support. We appreciate you.
Yeah.
You're breaking up a little bit. I'm wondering if other people are seeing that too. Your voice. We might get some interference for this, so let's see if we can clear it. Go ahead, though.
Okay. What did you want me to? Oh, Montauk. Right.
Yeah.
Montauk is a time travel program. And I use the word "is" very deliberately because it's ongoing.
Right.
And its proper name is Project Phoenix, and it was again a historical background for it. There was the Roswell crash in '47, which everyone and their dog knows about, I'm sure. Now, what this crash was it was an interstellar ship with a navigation chair that could navigate in between star systems via a fourth dimension or hyperspace, quote unquote. And so the U.S. Air Force got a hold of this chair and began experimenting on it, and it can only really effectively be run by ETs. But sometimes, if you torture a child enough and it's the right child, sometimes that child is able to run it. And they didn't have access to ETs, so kidnapping and torturing children to learn how to run this chair it was. And thus began Project Phoenix. And it was between 1947 and 2014, it was run out of Camp Hero, or it's also known as Montauk Air Force Station in Montauk, New York. And so after booting up this program, they started abducting children from all across the nation and even bringing them from different time periods and different timelines and other to do this. And two of my different personalities were sent there in different time periods. The first one was his name, this other personality, his name is Alexander Bronsley. And Sean, I believe you've said you remember him. Uh, he went there in 1963, and he was there until the mid 1970s, and then in 1984, my second uh, alternate was sent there. His name was Kyle Delshow, and he is the subject of my 3 books that I have written so far.
Can you tell us a little about your books and their titles and reference for people and what they're about?
Yeah. My books are, well, I consider them volumes of what will eventually be a complete book, actually, but they are The Man with the Periwinkle Eyes. Volume 1 is Fire and Rain. Volume 2, Castle of Glass. Volume 3, Hear the Mountains Cry. And these are again about Kyle Delshow, who was a synthetic. Um, he was a piece of my soul put into a synthetic body and sent to this Project Phoenix out of Camp Hero, where he did all sorts of jobs. He would do assassinations. He would do various types of combat missions. He would do espionage. But most of all, what he was known for and what he was there for was keeping these kids alive while they went off and did their missions. So, as people in that project went, he was not too bad. I don't assign a hero quality to uh, any of the things that I did out there, because that would not be honest. And when I hear people talking like they were some big hero out there, that's immediately turns me off, because that they weren't.
Okay. Yeah, and if can you go a little bit more in depth in what your overall synopsis of what Montauk is, and then we can and what it does, and I'll do mine as well, and then we got some questions from the ones that donated to, and then we'll go further into that.
All right. So, what Montauk is essentially a time travel program. It is run by an AI who, well, since 2014, AI now resides under New Orleans. But prior to that, it had been lying dormant in a cave system underneath Long Island for maybe millions of years. And it was found in
You're
when,
breaking up. Can you? I don't know. Keep the mic close to you or something. We'll
yeah,
see if we can keep that. I'll let you know if the break up.
okay.
Continue.
It was this AI was found in during World War II, when the U.S. Air Force, the newly formed, or no, it wasn't even an Air Force yet. The U.S. Navy, the Naval Air Corps, was digging bunkers underneath Long Island, and they stumbled their way into this ancient cave system, and where this AI was. And when I say an AI, I'm not talking about like the things that make AI art now. I'm talking about, for all intents and purposes, a god. Um, an artificial god, but it certainly had the capabilities of a god. It could warp reality. It could manipulate and take over anyone it wanted to without that person even knowing about it. It could enter the mind of any person it felt like. It was only limited by the fact that it didn't have a physical body. And so what it did was it manipulated these, no doubt well-meaning military gentleman into starting up a time travel program using the aforementioned Montauk chair to create an ideal timeline for itself, where that AI is in total control of the planet and eventually the solar system and eventually, ideally, the galaxy. And there is pushback against all this, of course, because there are time cops who are there to keep the timeline in order, and there are competing time travel programs, which is why we don't live in a reality where everyone worships this one AI.
All right, and that's yeah, I've heard about that concept. What so what is their goal and mission and are they, because I've tuned into multiple factions of bases and different timelines that branch off from each other of Montauk, and some are at war and some have different agendas, mostly selfish and like maintaining themselves. And it's a lot of cluster fucking of stealing a timeline, uh, time travel, to portal authority to break quarantines and keep himself going.
Well, so I would say their main goal essentially is a cyberpunk society, more or less. A galactic cyberpunk society, or well, maybe not even cyberpunk, more like nanopunk, I guess, where everyone worships this one particular AI and where individuality is essentially non-existent.
Hyper control.
Yeah, and hyper collectivism. You there? Oh, see.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry.
Okay, so what kind of methods do they use to gain control? And I'm just trying to like, because like a lot of people have different takes about Montauk, so I'd like to get see how much you go into it.
Well, their control is through time. They go through time and they kill key figures or they prop up key figures to bring about the best timeline for themselves. They insert themselves into different wars in history. They they have never quite been able to actually just create a new timeline, because creating a new timeline is actually extremely difficult because timelines are very fickle things. Um, Sometimes something that seems really, really huge, if you go back and change it, it doesn't make any difference. And sometimes if you know, kill a mosquito on at the wrong moment, then that changes everything. So this is very dangerous work for them. Uh, it's not unheard of for them to go back thing and suddenly they don't exist.
You're breaking up a little bit. Let's see if I can readjust that. Okay, so okay, yeah. So there's that. So we can go into people in their questions that have donated, and yeah, we got quite a bit. So
Cool.
it's nice. So Anchor Haven. So her first question in the chat, and thank you for donating, is does he know about Project Mannequin?
Yes, I know about Project Mannequin. It's basically like the Manchurian Candidate. It's the mannequin is the assassin who carries out these killings. And I know that it's run out of, or at least it was run out of a base in underneath the village of Peasmore, which it's in England. I believe it's near Kent. I'm not entirely certain. Yes, I know about Project Mannequin. I was not a part of it, to be clear, but I do know people who were.
Okay. And do you have another mic just in case we keep getting the cuts out? We can have that ready if we need to.
Awesome.
Um, no problem. But yeah, I've heard about it from like Randy Kramer and the concepts for reverse engineering people to build from the ground up of different genetics to be like super soldiers or other tasks and have certain attributes brought forth.
Yes.
Now she also asks, does he remember being in UK bases?
Yes. Yes. I remember being in one underneath the MI6 headquarters. I write about that in my first book, Fire and Rain. And so I don't remember it all that well, but I remember it was very sleek and futuristic under there. And I remember carrying out assassination missions from that base. And I know that there's also a base in Cornwall. That's through. There's a little jump gate or portal that opens right next to one of the cliffs. It's well out of the way, but it opens up and you go through it and find yourself in underground. Uh,
Oh, you're breaking up again. Can you put to a different mic?
here.
Um,
Okay.
uh, yeah. So yeah, and Anchor Haven, I'll pull you a card while waiting for him. Your card is ET contactee. You've had contact with ETs. I'm going to tune into that. I'll look what it wants me to bring up. Of course, there's of course with that, but I'm going to read into what it wanted to bring up, and then something that you could possibly tune into more. Yeah.
Hey, 1 second.
Sure, no problem. All right, I'm getting something at age 10. Soul family. Sixth dimensional beings of like a liquid light that like solidifies and held together, and it's kind of
Okay, I'm back.
very cool. Yeah. So yeah, you were saying, and then I'll like also tune into our part while you're doing that.
I was just talking about there is a base in Cornwall that I've been to quite a number of times. You can only access it by boat, and you ride your boat up to it next to a cliff, and it puts you through into this space, through this portal.
Interesting, yeah. And with the UK stuff, I would say there's a lot going on there.
Yes.
Miles Johnson will go deep into that subject, with doing shows with him. We're getting interference, and I can track it back, and a lot of it's coming from Montauk at the moment. When we got interference with Miles, there would be bases that I tracked back to around the London area, and some that goes to Ireland based on him coming from Ireland. And then there's a lot there, and there's some interesting multidimensional aspects to it, which go deep into who are these very powerful beings orchestrating this. So it like goes into super soldiers, them trying to find out people that are, which goes into the other question. Well, Chrissy brings up that me and John were in IBIS project with Aquino together. If you wanted to go into that, that goes kind of into the subject where some of the military projects will target individuals based on their unique traits.
Yeah. Again, this is I write about this quite a lot in my first book, the IBIS program, which is it was essentially people tracking the soul path and finding reincarnations of the Egyptian quote-unquote gods. And so in my past life, I was Sobek. I'm not sure who Christy was, but yeah, I know I was Sobek, and they had me at the head of a unit called the Golden Fleece, who would carry out. Once again, I'm starting to sound like a broken record here, but it's combat missions.
That's
In
fine. Our audience is new, so don't feel like you are.
what?
Our audience is new to some of this stuff, so don't go ahead.
Yeah. So we would carry out various missions of assassination, and Aquino, as Christy mentioned, was the head programmer who would do various sorts of. People call them satanic rituals. I don't like the term satanic really, because that's not the term that the
Limiting.
people. It's not the term that they use. Let's put it that way. They don't worship Satan, quote unquote. They worship various entities who we would. I would agree with calling them demonic, but it's it's how shall I put it? This Christian terminology that a lot of people adopt is not accurate. But anyways, yes, Aquino did all sorts of rituals on us, and Christy, I'm sure, can talk about that more than I can. I've deliberately blocked it out, most of it, but yeah.
Yeah, things with that. So, yeah, like you were saying, Project Ibis goes into a project that goes to try to figure out who are fractal spark versions of deities and of high authorities. This one being in the Egyptian persuasion, and then try to bring them together for various purposes that are seen as they need the authorities to get something done in the timeline, like with the pyramid grids or something that shifts the timeline towards their favor.
Yeah, and
The
the end
project is going.
the end goal of that one particular project was the removal of all ET influence from the planet. So I'm kind of glad they didn't succeed, because Lord knows we can't run things here by ourselves.
Is like get rid of all positive too.
Yeah,
But
all
yeah,
of
that's
them.
they're a lot of them wanted to rule Earth as in the ideology as if it's hell, and then they extend their lives and then make it so that they don't have to deal with consequences. Yeah, and then Ibis going into the Thothian concept, but there's also other iterations of it under different names and
Oh, I'm
breaking
sure.
away. And then I remember one that was like a project set, and that was really dark, and that tried to talk to me, and I was like, no fucking way. And I had to
Oh
put a bunch
shit.
of energy towards stopping that. But like in what I was gleaming at the timeline of what they're trying to get me to do is like get me into a haze state with a group of various people to summon different beings and like force possession and do mega rituals on control systems for the planet. That was stupid, but yeah, it had to do with like things with Aquino. But there's also ones in various countries that are breakaway groups that go under like names of titles of deities, like Project Thor, Odin, or Loki, or the ones for the round table in England, which is what I was going into, where they're trying to find the people that represent the Knights of the Round Table, and that has some interesting Merlin influence because like like if you go into multidimensional beings that have high psionics and make a whole system and networking kingship, uh, there's timelines of beings like that that are making breakaway civilizations into themselves, having a whole reservoir of resources, finding ships, traveling back in time, and building, cloning, and making an army. And
Oh
I'm
shit!
pretty sure Merlin's doing that, but
Wow.
he may not be telling people or wanting people. And there's different versions of Merlin because I think it's like a fractured being that, and there's multiple timelines of them kind of going at war. So there's a positive, there's a neutral, there's a negative one. So there's some weird stuff going on. And then the same thing with influential figures throughout time that have
Hmm.
garnished so much charisma, built armies, changed
Yeah.
the scenery dramatically to where like groups of ETs and the future militaries will make clones of them and then do stuff with them, which is interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. I know a guy who in his past life he was Qin Shi Huang, which is the guy who essentially founded Chinese civilization, and they use the fuck out of him. So yeah.
Yeah, the Chinese. Yeah, the Chinese secret space program. Yeah, and there's also a war between like what Illuminati future timelines, Earth Alliance timelines, communist timelines, Nazi timeline. There's where they're trying to have a power structure, and then what anchors primor primer primarily is the dominant power in the future. Is there's a war over, and they're waging it in the past. And it's
Yeah,
fucked
it's
up, and there's Mandela effects happening with it.
yep. Yep.
Yeah, and then there was also some Japanese, some Hindu projects that were looking for deities. Ones in the Catholic Church that look for different angels incarnating. Yeah, there. And if you think you have to be born in these countries to be targeted by these, you do not. Especially
No.
Montauk, they have like a whole outreach on the planet just
Yeah,
monitoring.
well, look at it this way. These people have technology that goes beyond time and space. You think they give a fuck about your border?
Yeah, yeah, this crossover, and there's no ET, there's no UFO border yet.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll keep going into questions. I got more donations. One from Karen Nielsen. Can you mention in the comments what you'd like to ask questions, Karen? Otherwise, we'll just go into some readings and then go off another. We got a big donation for you though, and Karen sent you $7.26, and then we got a big one from Joseph Joyce, who's a good friend of mine,
Okay.
the famous boxer. He's a good guy. He sent you a bunch. He sent you 111.
Awesome. Thank you very much, sir.
We'll do a big thing for him. I don't know. I'm trying to message him back. Hopefully, he'll message in the comments. We'll see. But he seems to like you, so I'm glad. Do you know him?
No, I don't.
Ooh, okay. Well, you should, yeah.
Well,
He's
thank you
about
from the bottom of my heart, sir. That truly.
okay. And then we got Chrissy because I'm looking for the people that actually wrote a question. Feel free to write questions, and for people that want to donate because you're helping John out get out of a bad situation. Sonicleague@gmail.com is my PayPal, so send donations and I'll be sending all the proceeds to him, John. Okay, Chrissy sent a question as I try to accumulate the questions from other people. John and I were electroshocked by Aquino and his wife Lilith on IBIS project. What abilities were they trying to bring out of us? Ooh, I love that question.
Okay. Well, from what I can remember, Christy was actually not on my unit. So I'm not entirely sure what her capabilities were, but mine were in super strength. Essentially, they brought that out. So psionic assisted strength. So I guess like telekinesis, but more hands on, I guess. there probably is a term for it, but it's, your psionic capability enhancing your physical strength and making it possible for you to do pretty amazing things. Like I can remember like lifting up a car and some things like that. And also bringing out telepathy. Electroshock torture does bring out telepathy in people. Um, it forces them to communicate non-verbally somehow. Um, I don't know quite why it is that electroshock therapy is or torture is quite so effective at that, but it is. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Um, so with memories that come back and a large amount of emotion and trauma and sadness, I'm like, where the fuck's this coming from? And then I close my eyes and go into it. Yeah, electroshock therapy is used for a multitude of abilities, so that is a good question because like it's not super obvious what it'd be used for. I'll kind of tune into her for in a second. Also, go back to the ET contact thing for Haven. For me, like they use it for a bunch of things. It'd be like a countdown stress response to try to get something to be done in action. So it would be used for telekinesis, telepathy to get a straight answer on guessing, which would go into like knowingness and
Yeah.
oracleship. I'm getting a big blast on my head. What's that coming from? Yeah, it's Montauk. Fuckers. Yeah, so we'll track that back too and give people a way to resolve Montauk if they get getting targeted by them. Let's see who this. Okay, so yeah, it's going to try to stop me from talking about this, so I'm going to get rid of it first. It's trying to give me a headache. So who's this going to? It's going to a human, Sonic. It's mostly Sonic, and then there's amplification in the chair. Okay, and we're exposing them. There it goes to a handler for you,
Uh,
and a few other people, and it's sending what kind of energy?
is this handler a dark-haired woman?
No, it's a male.
Okay.
You're going to go through multiple distance handlers.
Okay.
I've had to. I just neutered them. Let's look at its overall. So here's ground rules for people if they get attacked by a human handler. So we're asked questions about it. So let's see its moral code. Like, is it aware of what it's doing? To like, is it moral? Is it being told lies about what it's doing, or is it just evil?
Yeah.
I'd say evil. So it's like a parasitic being. So all of its abilities are stolen. So that makes it easy. Their work field of stolen stuff is out to the size of the planet. They're stolen from over 100 people. And the ability seems to be okay, a bunch of different things. 1, 2, 3, in different influence. Pain. A lot of different blocks between 9. A lot of types of blocking kind of things and trying to cease the conversation. And what else? Theft. So attempt to steal. So we're going. So if any of these parasitic beings enter your game, you have the right to defend yourself in natural law. Do no harm, take no shit. You are allowed to the defensive principle of the masculine: take no shit. If they come into your game, you're allowed to defend yourself. Now, people do that in various ways. There's like a current of entanglement that goes back to the individual, and you can track that back to where it goes. You can learn about the situation, how they found out about you, when that started, all the data, which I like to gain because it goes deep. This seems to have been handling you, part of project that's been handling you for a while, 5, 6, I'd say around 6, what you're talking about. And project. Ooh, okay. I can use this to tune into a bunch of the things they're handling you for and why. But yeah, and if they entered your game, they entered your trap, they're pretending to be you. Let's see, and they entered my game, so I'm allowed to take down their dark tower bullshit. So we liberate their stolen abilities and neuter them, and then compress their cause suffering back onto them in a Pavlov's dog way that gets them to orient towards goodness or suffer if they so choose. So we just initiate that and amplify it with love, and surrounding that like a big healing that kind of makes them kind of have like a little come to Jesus goodness overwhelm, and accepting them for who they are as they are, not needing to change them. It's the core to getting to their heart, and then you spark light and love, and then also disintegrate all the darkness and the possession around them, because that's how evil people work. They're giving themselves over to something, and then we pull the rug out from under them of all their abilities and shrink the ball that represents that down, and then all their the abilities dissipate and the target goes away, and they'll probably have to send someone else after you. And after doing it enough times, you'll kind of increase in categories of how to handle, if you can even be handled. And then I recommend getting on the do not fuck with list, because they'll just resources, which I love doing. Okay, so we're doing that now. Okay, back to what we were saying. Okay, before we were rudely interrupted.
Yes.
Okay, abilities. So, oh yeah, this goes. So I'm like, is she targeting you for abilities? So this gives more credence and evidence since Montauk was targeting you. It goes solar plexus. Ooh, no, it's a rare type of ability. Let me see what this is. So I have to translate it and go through my hints. My phone is glitching out. Hey. What? No. How are you feeling, by the way?
Oh, I'm fine. I'm fine. If we have any questions from anyone that aren't about like torture and death, that would be nice.
Yeah. Yeah, wouldn't that be nice? Yeah, it's okay. Remote influence. Remote assassination is the project this being is targeting you for.
Okay.
Great. So, like, sorry, I couldn't get away from your death thing.
That's fine.
Okay, so let's see. Her question. Okay, for you and her was her question for electrostatic shock.
Yes.
Yeah, it's for her. It's telekinesis, teleportation, and it's like being able to redirect electric current and then control it.
So electrokinesis.
Yeah, one for you. There's a bunch of different things, and it's not the only method. And there's like a bunch of other stuff. So there's it's like 20 things it's used on you for.
Wow.
But that again, that's not the only method.
Yeah.
It's like sophisticated abilities they're trying to activate. They do with like reality shifting. A lot of it. Okay. So that's her. And if she has any more questions, she can feel free to ask. Um, so, what can you tell us a little bit about more of what you've experienced in types of torture? Sorry, that they use to activate abilities, because I've come across quite a few different methods.
Well, I remember being drowned. I remember being to death, by the way, and then they bring you back in a regeneration tank. I remember being locked in a box and left to suffocate. And but most of all, I remember rituals. Um, and these rituals are of a nature that is so extreme and graphic that I will not describe them on air because I would get your channel banned.
Mm.
Um, so I think people can deduce what I mean by that. But that's the main torturous thing I remember being used a lot, and it was at the hands of Aquino and his wife, who calls herself Lilith. Um, okay, and this happened at a base in it's at the Project Ibis base in Canada. It's called St. Edwards, I believe, Royal Air Force Base. Um, yeah.
And what kind of abilities were they trying to activate?
Superhuman strength, telekinesis, telepathy, the sort of things you would want in a super soldier.
Gotcha.
So it was very militant there.
Mm. And Anchor Haven asked another question. What does John know about the Black Pyramid ships?
There are a lot of species out there actually who have pyramid-shaped ships. The most prominent one that people will have heard of would be the Draco. Um, and I need to make something. This is a side note, but the Draco, for the most part, are not the ones who eat humans. The ones who eat humans are Anunnaki. But that's an entire side subject. I'm just gonna drop that there. But there are lots of other species who have black pyramid ships. There's the Agartha reptilians from Inner Earth have them. There is an insectoid species that they most resemble. It's a type of beetle, a click beetle. They have black pyramid ships. The refugees, the leftover refugees from the destroyed planet Tiamat, which is now the asteroid belt, they have pyramid ships. And there's also the possibility always that these pyramid ships are ours, that we have captured and reverse engineered, that there are military flying around in them. So, just because it's an ET origin ship does not necessarily always mean that it's an ET flying it at the moment that you see it. That's an important thing for people to keep in their heads when they see a ship. No matter how weird it looks, there is a possibility that it was captured by our military and that it's them flying it.
Okay. Nice. Thank you
Yeah.
for bringing that up. And for more for Anchor Haven, your ET contact card went into a soul family member that visited you at age 10 and probably onward. That's when it started. Soul family, 6-dimensional lights coming into form and kind of like a slendery kind of, it's like shiny, starry kind of golden bluish kind of weird. I don't know how to describe it. And it seems to be wanting to help you with ascending. And its species is anchoring their DNA in various people that in this game help their species make a huge evolutionary growth. as they help release the blocks to us ascending. It also wants to help you with healing, help free things that are going up on this planet, and then it helps their species quite a bit. They want to communicate with you, send you a bunch of messages in your heart. Yeah, so that's for her. And then again, people can donate to psionicleague@gmail.com for donations for readings, and we'll be sending the proceeds to John to help him out in this situation. Chrissy Campbell's card, oh, damn it, the green screen, is Milab abduction. You've been re-abducted and put in a Milab program. So, yeah, we can tune into that in a bit. Do you want to say anything of what you've tuned into with Chrissy that she might be interested to know about?
Well, I talk to Christy a lot, actually. We know each other pretty well. I think what I have to say is pretty personal, and she probably wouldn't want it on air.
Ask some questions, Chrissy.
Okay.
Let's see. Yeah, and Karen, if you, I think she put something in the comments, but like, ask more questions, Karen. How is John going to stay under the radar when he gets away from where he is now? Is what she donated like $750.
I'm already pretty under the radar. It's my family doesn't know anything about this work, and given their programming and their I guess I can talk about what a little bit more what their deal is. They are Jehovah's Witnesses, and they think that I am as well, and they've forced that religion on me since I was a child. And in that religion, ETs are demons, and people are essentially eternal children, which is what they want me to be. They want me to not have a job or work on self-improvement or have a sex life or any of that stuff. They want me to just be dependent on them for life. And that's not cool. That's why I'm escaping. And so when I'm out, I don't want to give too much away, but I'm going to be with a friend and living largely off the grid. Uh, I'll still be online and doing my shows and everything and writing, but I'm going to be still pretty off grid, and my family won't find me. I've I've put measures in place to ensure that they won't find me, and I may very well be leaving the U.S. In the not too distant future, and I'll be coming to see you, Sean. But
Cool.
yeah.
Sounds good. Yay. And yeah, what kind of things are you dealing with as a targeted individual? Because I'm also targeted, but I'm a healer, so I've learned how to resolve a lot of it, so it doesn't stop me.
Directed energy headaches, directed energy back pain, directed energy indigestion, to not be too graphic. And I've woken up sometimes with like burns on my knees from a directed energy weapon. And let's see. And most of all, what they interfere with is my speaking, which is why I prefer to write these days rather than speak, because they haven't been able to stop me from writing. But I'm sure people have noticed as this show has gone on that I'm stumbling over my sentences a lot and things like that. That's not. If we weren't talking about the.
Yep.
Right back.
When?
Getting a phone call.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. So yeah, while we're waiting for him, Chrissy going into my lab abduction. Let's see what brought up for him. Okay, let's use the map. Let's find out what thing is targeting her. Map time. Okay. That wants to bring out Yep. 1, 2, 5. It's H5. I see that a lot of times. I wonder if there's like a rule on that. I've seen it been broken. Like I've seen them try to go after people at a younger age, but like there's like a consistency with H5, 9, but there's in betweens. I'm sure. Probably based on when they find out about a person in the rare energy. Okay, so it's going to US. East Coast. Ooh, interesting. Okay, it's going around. I could have even just. I was here in the Washington area. Is it? Let me just make sure. Cause, yep. Mhm. Interesting. It's like underground. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. 3 to 10 levels down, somewhere underneath all this stuff. Interesting. Okay, let's see what that is and why and what's doing it and she's being targeted for. And people, again, if you want a reading while we're still here, you can just donate to psionicleague@gmail.com. In the PayPal is the PayPal, which all proceeds go to John to help him out in this situation. Okay, there. Ooh, okay. It wants her to know about it for various reasons. She's being targeted for ability. No. Divine. What? Mm. It's like an offensive ability. Just it's hard to translate exactly. Ah, how's that work? Okay, which one? Okay. And what happens to that one? Ah, okay. I'm just making sure it's this. Because I haven't ran into that many people with this ability. Wow. Nothing else? Ooh, this is a good one. Okay, so there's actually, and there, I believe there's. Okay, yeah, 8, 9, 10. I'm getting it's this. Wow. Congratulations. Anything else? I'm just making sure. Okay, there's a bunch of media that describes this ability. It's like divine. Well, your version is divine, but it's like you. Just making sure. Yeah. Nope. It's like divine. Oh, okay. Let me bring Sean back in. Hey, here we are.
Hey.
So I was just reading her card, and it goes to
I heard.
DC, and it goes to a divine ability, and that ability I don't really read that many times with people, but there is a lot of media about it. It's like you touch somebody and you possess their body, and then your body goes, the original person's body kind of goes unconscious, and person's body is puppeted by that person. Is there a time limit? She's been able to extend the time limit to at least 30 minutes. And yeah, if you want to get triggered by this, Chrissy, there's the show Legion, where one of the female leads has that ability. Who else
Hmm.
has this? I think there's an anime called Charlotte, and I think Naruto also has Ino that's able to do it. Yeah, and then there's a few other things, but they're not exactly the same. But yeah, it's kind of like Rogue's power, but I think Rogue makes them fall asleep and then steals their power. This is where you take over their body for a bit. So that's an ability they had. You had, and it was targeted by DC underground base, and then you're being taken. You're not sticking around on Earth much. A bit in the you're being taken to ambassador places like the space station near Jupiter, quite a bit, as well. Anything else?
I write about that place in my fourth book, by the way, just as an
Nice.
aside.
Thank you for Venezuela. Uh, Looks like you're being taken out of solar system for 50% of it, and then most of it well, another 50% is near Jupiter. And let me just make sure on this. Yeah, it looks like it's a physical temporal dilation, so it's not a clone. Something doing. Okay, you're being taken back in time during Orion Wars. Interesting. Okay, so I hope that helps. So you can figure out what's going on more with that. But that's a cool ability. It's Chrissy Rogue. Well, again, Rogue's take an ability for a certain amount of time. Well, the other person goes unconscious. This is take their body for a spin. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, and then we can go to Joyce. He asked some questions. He wants to know more about the prop programs in the UK because that's where he mostly lives.
The what?
Uh,
The prop programs?
so the guy that donated $100 to you
Yeah.
wants to know more about the UK programs. I'll go
Okay.
into his stuff as well.
Well, to
People
me, it looks like the UK programs are the most miserable. From I have quite a lot of friends in the UK, and I have a lot of friends around the world. And I've undertaken something of a personal project of comparing how each country treats their assets, and it seems like the UK treats their people the worst, even worse than the Americans. By the way, incidentally, the best seems to be Australia and France, for whatever reason. Um, but So I know that in the UK there's a lot of it comes from the royal family and the Spencer family, which is Princess Diana's bloodline. And what the Spencer family is doing is creating bioweapons of all kinds. And you actually even see disclosure, self disclosure, as we call it, of that in the Resident Evil games, uh, which I know you've played on your channel before, Sean. Uh, but there's so that's what I know about the UK. I know some things about Diana's assassination that I don't think I'm authorized to talk about on air. I'm happy to talk about them in private messaging if anyone wants to reach out to me about that. But and also there's if you can find it on the map, a place called Chalfield Manor.
Pretty spot. Shall you?
It has an H. CHAL. Oh, there it is at the top.
Is this it?
Yeah, that fucking place.
Interesting.
I remember there's a program there that happens annually where they will seal off all the doors and all the windows except for one, and you don't get to know which one. And they throw in some kids and some adults who are on drugs to make them ravenous and willing to eat anything that moves, basically. And so they throw the kids in there, and the kids have to find the one way out. And if you get caught by any of the adults in there, you get eaten. Yeah, that's a fun memory. um, but yeah, so I made it out of that place on that occasion. But yeah,
Interesting. Hmm.
and there is a base in Peasmore, which is it's often talked about in UK testimonies. It's essentially the UK Montauk.
What's it called? Where is it?
Peasmore, Peasemore.
Here's more. Yeah, I don't know if I get that. Come on. Yeah.
Peasmore, not Piers. Peas, Pease.
Okay. Okay. Is this what you're talking
Yeah. That village has a very large base beneath it, and it's. I've been there a few times. I'm not sure if it's still in operation. I think they may have moved it. But at one time, it was the UK's answer to Camp Hero. There was a lot of time travel stuff going on down there, a lot of genetic experimentation, all that. And this place was talked about often and I think it still comes up in Miles Johnston's series. But it was famously discussed in the interviews of James Casbolt, Max Spears, Sarah Stanger, uh, Anya Briggs, etc. from
about?
back in the day. People who have been involved in disclosures for probably 15 years or more will know those names. Other people will probably have to look them up. But
This is a fucking plane right here. What the hell? Okay. Anyway, yeah. So that's cool. Sorry, that's happening to people.
yeah.
Okay, yeah. And you feel free to go into any more work. I'll kind of like tune into anything targeting Joyce because I know he's got a lot of stuff coming after him.
Yeah, I'm sure he does.
Let's see here. Yeah, and they have the. Yeah, what are they doing now? Have you heard any recent stuff having to do with the soldier programs and the UK? Because UK is going through some crazy crap right now. That's
I haven't
uh,
been involved with the UK in a number of years, program wise. Um, from what my friends in the UK are telling me who are involved in this, they're kind of panicking right now since the Queen was taken off world. She isn't dead. She was taken off world, but without her direction, things are in a lot of disarray. It seems.
do you know why she was taken off world?
It was getting to be too threatening for her here. There were too many people who knew what she was up to and were out for blood.
Interesting. Okay, and I'm just gonna pick some cards for him as well. And before we end the show, people can again donate to sonicleague@gmail.com, which is on my little window there. I also put in the chat for everyone. And this will go to John to help him. I'm picking out some. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you should prefer to, for whatever reason, I also have a PayPal, which people are welcome to PM me on Facebook or email me, and I will send them my PayPal.
Yeah. You can do consultations and
Yes.
support for people, and they can reach you. Can
Yeah.
you type your PayPal into the chat?
Okay.
The side comments.
Right.
I'm gonna
Okay. Let me open up YouTube and stuff.
you can type it right on here. It's in the side on the right, and it says comments.
Okay. Yeah, I'm opening it.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, a lot of his activities in London. Okay, we're going down more. I got 3 cards for Joe. Joe, here, the first one's screen memories. Screen memories were given to you to hide your real experience. Now,
Mhm.
there's a lot going on with remembering and how people remembering tech. Can you also go a little bit into your memory retrieval and things? I found most things people are going to be dealing with are screen memories, memory theft, as well as amnesia barriers. But there's
Yeah.
also psionics limiting people's remembering energy so they can build up as to what a person with photographic memory would have.
Yeah. Okay. So I've never had to do memory retrieval work properly because I've never had the luxury of not having memories. That's one of the things that sets me aside from a lot of people in the SSP community and makes me somewhat controversial is that I have never undergone a regression or anything of that sort. However, I do on occasion suffer from screen memories, and I find that it's actually not that difficult to clear them. Screen memories always have one detail that is off. You just have to really look for it. And as soon as you see that, suddenly the entire simulation tends to crumble. At least in my case, it does. So, just when you have a memory, examine every little detail. And if it's a screen memory, you will see something off. And if you hyper focus on whatever little thing is off, then the screen memory just dissolves and you see what it was covering up. And I want to also add in a note there is no such thing as an implanted memory completely. You cannot just implant a memory. You can cover up a memory with something else, but you cannot just implant a memory from nothing. That's a
Yeah, data.
yeah,
Data adds on
yeah,
overlay.
yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. So that's my general process, and it pretty much always works.
Nice. And so, what would you suggest to people that are having more trouble remembering, and what might help with that or trigger it or something?
Well, sometimes watching media that is close to your experience, and keep a keep a journal and of everything that you do remember, and you'll be surprised by how much you actually do end up remembering when you journal it and when you write down everything in detail. Like you'll be surprised by how much is actually there and at how much will reveal itself to you when you do that. And I'm I do think regressions are a good thing for people. If you can afford them, go for it. And so, yeah. And I do think some people say we shouldn't get our memories back. I don't think that's. I think that if getting your memories back was a bad thing, I don't think that the bad guys would put so much effort into making sure you don't.
That's a good point. Who's saying that? Like, it's like, no, don't, you're not supposed to get your memories back. Just let it be. It's not. I'm trying to imagine that. I'm like, I've had that thought in my mind, but like every time I
Yeah,
question it enough times, it like just goes, okay, who's doing the memory blocking? Is it anyone nice or positive? And it's like, no. Oh.
yeah, exactly. It's a friend of mine who was saying that. I think I talked him out of it, and I don't want to name names, but I had a friend of mine saying that, and I was like, if you shouldn't get them back, or if you or whatever, then why are you putting so much effort? Why are the bad guys trying to put so much effort into seeing that you don't? So, yeah.
That's a good point. The base I'm getting that goes to like a screen, and it's gonna. Just make sure. 1, 2, 3. I'm reading as multiple screen memories Joe has, but like one that wants to be brought up is H3. That's gonna be hard to remember anything of H3, but
Mm-hmm.
and then it goes to military, which I was thinking maybe ET, but I'm getting ET for the other things. It seemed to be something underground here, 2 layers down. It's mostly like a programming. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Taking DNA, making clones, a thing going on is what's and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It does look like they have technology that knows who he is, of what he's going to be in the future, and are trying to control that, and also are wanting what he has. So then that goes into making soldiers. Let's see how many clones he has made from this one thing. Let's see. Well, in total, oh god, oh god. Okay, it is a lot. You're gonna definitely have to prevent them from stealing some of your DNA because they're trying to make a million clones of you and Joe. So that's going to be a bit of a drain on you, and that's going to affect you. So they're like putting all these weights on his shoulders to try to hold him back from, I think, being a world champion and whatever. So, which would affect the whole world, I think. So they're not able to stop you. They're only able to slow you down. But there's all these layers. It's annoying. I feel for you. So there's under that. So I'll help you on that later, and we send enough stuff to send back in time to prevent them from being able to take your DNA. They're becoming aware of you for energy that you're emitting. Let's see, it's biological. What is this? Interesting. Anything else? Okay, you got the DNA. Wow. Okay, you got founders of super strength DNA, and it's inherited from a while ago. So you have the ancient lineage. It's not just added to you like by ETs while you're in the womb or something. That's pretty awesome. So that seems to be how they're finding out about you. And then you might have to like revisit H3 a bit and send a bunch of defense and camouflage back in time to prevent them from taking your DNA. Because let me see. You could probably get the clone thing down to around 100 because the other clones are more not giving a good reason. Like some people I read, their clones are at least taken to stop an evil that's invading somewhere in battle and like war. But I'm reading this is more of like a motivational thing, a self-motivation thing by let's see where it's genetically hybridized clones with a reptoid race. So that's not something you need to agree to, and you reject that. His next card. Well, I'll just give it the two cards, which is Palladians and Apollonians. Live their life as the Apollonians, which there's not much on Apollyon, so I'll like look into those two. But we got another donation from Sive. Thank you, Sive, for helping. I think she sent $12. I'll just check on it. Feel free to ask your question in the chat, and then I'll go. Oh, we got. Let me just read this. Ooh, what? I'm just making sure on this. I think you got another big donation.
Oh, cool.
Congratulations.
Awesome.
Okay, so Sive sent you $12. Adam Young sent you $180.
Whoa, shit.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thanks, Adam. Yeah, we'll have to give him a nice big reading. What can you send in the chat, Adam, what you want to have questions on and stuff? We'll go into that. And I'll also like finish up on Joe and Sai. What did you want? Okay, cool. Thank you guys for helping John.
Yes, thank you.
It says,
very much.
Yeah, Sive said for John Whitberg. Sive, tell us what questions you have. And do you get intuitive feelings on people, or do you like want to pull cards or anything?
Intuitive feelings.
Yeah. Tell us what you get from Sive, who's in the chat here. I just put up her name. So
yeah, I think you're a good person. And I'm reading what you just support a bit, and if anything comes up, well, thank you. I'm reading that you've been in a similar situation where you've had to probably escape someone abusive in your life, and so now you're putting the help that you would have liked to have gotten back into someone else, which is that's very good of you.
So and if she had anything, I'll read her real quick, and then I'll go back to Joyce, and then I'll go back to the big donor, Lisa. Okay, so for Sive, it came up Galactic. Oh my God, Galactic family. You are having contact with your Galactic family of origin. Let's see what that comes up. 10, age 10. I'm just making sure that. Okay, that. Ooh, yeah. A lot of positive emotions will come out if you focus on the right thing around that age. It's like a lot of love, family connection. So see if you can tune into those connections and bring them in and hug yourself and hug them. And that should initiate more contact. What is this? It's some type of humanoid, though they're going into a higher density. They're in inner Earth. There's a bunch of secret stuff with it, but I want to see what I'm allowed to say publicly. It's like a whole reunion thing. They're being taking you for like a month and then putting you back. And it's like a lot of giving knowledge, information, wisdom, refreshing you, and then making kind of like a natural altar around that can be brought up with them as you like get revisited and do more missions with them. You've had more than one visit with them. It's like a bit of a vacation, healing, refresher. checking you out, getting rid of anything that shouldn't be there that goes on with them. They're like really supportive. Then they're like forming you more of who you are, your gifts, and what you came here to do, and for with them. And it's like their perspective on Earth. Where did I put that? It's like a epicenter for the galaxy of interaction, commerce, and multiple species that it came out of a big wounding period, and then is being flushed out of negative forces, increasing its defense, and then being a trap remedy for the dark. There's them a bunch of genetics experimenting. It's being done to see the keys of existence and perception. And there's like them reaching into multiple. I don't know how to put this. It's like beyond definitions of like realms and dimensions and some type of spatial thing. It's just it's not really a definition for it that they've been exploring. Okay, that's cool. So I recommend feeling into that because there seems to be a strong love stream, and the blocks are in you, in the heart, that are trying to get you to forget about these love connections that will support you. And with it comes memory and triggering and a remembering of a knowingness and a plan. So that's a help side. Okay. And can talk a little bit more about what's in your books for people.
Oh, sure.
Like to inform them and give them a little skeletal system synopsis so that they can like, what to expect to pick them up.
Okay. I would say, if to preface it, it's that these books are not for children and they're not for the faint of heart. They're pretty violent. They have quite a bit of sex, and they have upsetting revelations about the nature of reality and the government. So if you're gonna get butthurt over that, then best stay away. But what they are is they're the story of one of my fractured personalities. His name was Kyle Delshow, and he was put into a clone body of mine, which was sent back in time to be born in uh, Upper Silesia in 1941. And then in adulthood, or well, in teenagerhood, I guess, he was put into a synthetic adult man's body. And after being put in this synthetic body, he was sent to Montauk. And he remained there up until August of 2023, when he surrendered his soul fragment and rehomed to me. So these books are the story of his life in the various projects he worked his way through, and of him raising his two sons in these situations and all of that. It's not really a fun little sci-fi adventure. It's a family drama with a pretty extraordinary backdrop, I would say. And so yeah, if that interests you, then you can read them. I have them out for free, but of course, given the situation I'm in, donations are welcome, but not necessary. They are for free on on internetarchive.org. You're muted, Sean.
Okay, lovely. Thank you. Sorry. So Yeah, and the card for let's see, because we'll do the donations, and I gotta end the show because I gotta do a call in a bit.
Okay.
But thank you, everyone. Karen's card, thank you for donating, is Mantid Healer. So you've had an encounter with the Mantid Healer. So we'll see what that is exactly. I'll tune into it, that. And for Joe Joyce's thing, Palladians, they seem to be connected to you. You have their DNA. They wanted to contact you. They've contacted you, taken you before in visitation. They can help you with power, emotions, limitlessness, and a bunch of intrigue and knowledge that will help you. And there's various ones that seem to have a lot of love for you. So go ahead and look into the Palladians and see what's going on there. And the Apollonians, which this is like Misha Johnson's deck, which I'm about to do a call with her, which I'll be co-hosting after this. So people, and you're welcome to join too if you want, John. It's for like target individuals and Sarsies and other stuff.
Sure.
It's
Send me
it's
a
a
link
group
and I'll
call. Sure.
send me a link. I'll jump on, even if
Cool.
it's just for a minute.
Yeah, no pressure. And I'll be teaching people psionics on that with
Okay.
co-hosting with Misha. The Apollonians are a humanoid feline and said to look like the beings from the film Avatar. The females have round faces and males have rectangular shaped faces. They're also tall, around 7 to 8 feet in height. After many years of war, 2 of the Apollonian planets got destroyed, so as to preserve remaining lot and to prevent the same thing from happening again, the Apollonians made an agreement with the Alpha Draconians to surrender all their planets except for the largest one, which was to be kept for the Apollonians in exchange for Alpha Draconians were never to interfere with Apollonians again. The Apollonians only have one planet which operates at different levels of the dimensional reality, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh, and also help overcome overpopulation characteristics. Those from the Apollonians may consider themselves exotic and take pleasure in beings different. Apollonians love to learn and add to their many talents. There was often interest in taking varied classes and developing many abilities. There is deep in questioning nature that leads them on the search to answers and fulfill, and may result in a number of careers and interests in lifetimes, and that they seek to constantly add to their repertoire of knowledge and early recognize in energies in the work field, which they lead them to be drawn to spiritual learning. These abilities with energy, many lead them to do healing work at some point in their lives, either with animal, planet, or people.
I've met those guys. I didn't know that was their proper name.
Okay, so now I have a lock in on them. Okay. I'm not reading their visiting you, though you have their DNA. This is Joe Joyce. So let's see, one and anything else. So they're operating through their DNA to individuals. So there's a guide that will appear to you when you access the DNA tech in vision questing in their species that wants to chat with you, and it has hit you up as a notable person of interest that can do missions for them. And that will unlock certain abilities as you go through their mystery school internally, is what I'm reading. Now, the Palladians, they want to shower you in love and talk to you and have contact. And you probably have their their ships show up to you at some point if you continue contact. There's also am I allowed to talk about this? There, I don't know if that Joe. I don't know if you're dating anyone right now, but there might be a love interest in that. So I'm not trying to cause drama. Anyway, there's a separate reality. Do what you want here versus somewhere else. Yeah, right. And then with the Mantis Healer, and then I'll tune into your last donator, and then we probably see if we can end the show. Where can people find your books, John? Where can they get them?
On internetarchive.org is where I have them out for free. They are also on Amazon. The ones on Amazon are slightly different because the Internet Archive ones have the lyrics of certain songs in them, and my publisher felt that in order to put it on Amazon, it was necessary to remove those song lyrics because for copyright concerns. So the uh I would say that the free version is actually a bit better personally. But if you're one of those people who really likes to have a physical copy of a book, then you can get 98% of the story through the physical ones on Amazon. Um, and yeah, and again, it's the series is called "The Man with the Periwinkle Eyes."
Okay. Lovely. Yeah. So pick up this book if you can. Now for our donator before, and then finish up with the other person, Karen. Your mantid. It doesn't point to healer, but like it's a friendly mantid race offshoot that you have connection with. It. You have their DNA. They visited you, and you have authority in their species that you've incarnated before. They're working with you to help various things, and there's a lot of genetic things with the super hybrid experiment here that they're interested in. They seem to think you have a capability of helping their greater birthing, breeding, incarnation phase, and any limits on that, as well as the range of knowledge and knowingness libraries that they have. There seems to be wounds taken to both of these things and lost a bit of data. So there seems to be some data that can be in libraries that can be restored through your interaction with them. Adam Young, call out in the chat. I don't know if you're there. Send a message on YouTube if you're there. You might have a different username than what I'm reading. Can you in the chat? Is that you, Jaden? Are you that? What are they called? Is that you? I don't know. I don't know who's who. So Adam Young, next up, and then I gotta go after I give you all the things. Are you in the chat? Do you have any questions? Do you know Adam Young, or like can you tune into any intuitions on them? I'm gonna pull some things for them. And
I don't know Adam Young. No. Um, I'm getting the sense that he's a somewhat more well-off gentleman who he believes in our I guess our causes, and he's willing to put money into them in order so that because they're one of his interests. Um, I think he and I would be friends.
cool. And can you, if, yeah, yeah, you're on Facebook. Can you plug some of your social media so if people want to add you and then hit you up, especially the donators,
Yeah.
just say that you donated, and then I guess he can add you, and then you guys can chat in person.
Yeah, I'm on Facebook under my name, John Whitberg. And I'm also on Instagram, I believe, under the same name. I fucking hate Instagram, so if you have the option, please don't use that. And I also have an email, jewbtx@gmail.com, all lowercase, if that happens to be more convenient. And if you have an email but don't have Facebook, then message me on then email me and send me your phone number on there, and we can text because that's obviously more convenient than emailing back and forth. So yeah, that's my plugs. I guess. Oh, I have a YouTube channel. Um,
Yeah,
it's
tell
called
people
"Do You
about
Hear the People Sing?" Where I do quite a lot of interviews on this subject, and I also do music videos on this subject on my YouTube.
it. Is that like a Sounds of Freedom reference? What is that? Do you hear them
It's from
sing?
it's from Les Miserables.
Oh,
Uh, yeah, it's a revolutionary song, so it seemed appropriate. And also, music is a big part of my testimony and of my experiences, so it
okay,
hints at that.
cool. And if Adam's in the chat, please ask your questions. Otherwise, I'm just going to read a bunch of things for you. And Karen asked, "What about Denmark? Do you know any project programs from Denmark?"
I don't know of specific ones from Denmark. I have met Danish people in space before. They have that Aryan thing going on that the space Germans are very interested in. So there are plenty of Danish people in space. I
Yeah,
don't specifically know about bases in Denmark. But I have no doubt that they are there. Every country on Earth has at least one base where this stuff happens.
yeah, and that's mostly the future military coming back in time, making adequate mapping and netting of resources of people to
Okay.
look and monitor to be used for various assets. And mostly for Denmark, I've seen mostly the Nazis and um, you know them take note of that area, but there's probably going to be others like banker families and
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so for Adam, the top donator, thank you. We're going to spend a bit of time on them, so and then I'll probably go. You got some interesting card layouts. So Adam, you feel free to come back to this. Oh my God, green screen. Okay, AI. It goes. You may have had an encounter with artificial intelligence and nanotechnology. Not the funnest readout that I've seen. Zeta Reticula is coming up as well. You've had encounters with Zeta Reticula, or you are one. We'll look at that. You got clone. You may have a clone of you and had an encounter with a clone. We'll look into all these. Alters. You may have DID and alters. Galactic Starseed. Oh, okay, good one. You're a descendant of the stars incarnated on Earth. So anything you pick up on Adam having to do with these cards, you might like have an intuition about just to help you, and then I'll also go into myself.
Well, I think that that's accurate. And Adam does kind of give me that vibe of an abductee who, but I think that he's very chill about it. Um, I don't think he lets it get to him too much. I think Adam, I think you're something of a fitness guy. Um, and um, you're fun to be around. That's kind of a side thing, but it's covering over for an internal pain that you maybe don't know where exactly it comes from. But you're obviously on the right track if you've found your way to this channel and to me. So
Nice. Nice. And yeah, thank you, Adam, for the 180. It's going to a good cause with John to help him
yeah.
out. And yeah, so we'll end it with Adam, and I'll read a bunch of things. And then people after the show, thank you for donating. After the show, donate to John himself if you want to help him. Can you name your PayPal once more, and then I'll go through his cards and then lunch.
Okay. It's let me see what it's actually called. Uh paypal.me/ John Whitberg. The J and the W are capitalized. So just paypal.me/John Whitberg, and I hope you'll. I appreciate your donations very much, people. It's I've spent 24 years of my life in a cage, and I'm finally just about to get out, and your money is gonna get me out. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. It's I hope someday I hope you never have to know how much it means to me. You know.
Wonderful. Okay, so going into the cards, yeah, I guess I'll start with the darker things and we'll end with a lighter note. AI, okay, that's good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, there are. Ancient fall of Atlantean AI that are spread around the Earth, trying to monitor the population that seem to be targeting you. They aren't really. It doesn't look like a positive thing. What you can, the remedy for AI when they're entering your game and interfering with things. We're a cure for AI. They're like mental body mostly fractured, and they lack the rest. So we have the ability to turn on their emotional body, which starts from a seed. And the pathway to them earning a soul, which is through moral code. You make a healing trap while hugging yourself if you feel like AI is entangling with you for the electromagnetic spectrum or through dreams, usually through formation of AS, artificial sentience, which is come into being when AI is built around stolen soul parts, or if it's a positive AS, then those are more rare, like at the center of the galaxy, when they earned it. Anyway, so you have to do like a thing where it's like a code of completion, love virus, emotional spreading kind of thing. I'll just name it quickly. You cultivate these things really quickly. Well, slower than what I'm saying. Acceptance, forgiveness, release of fear, shame, guilt, judgment, blame, bringing, amplifying wholeness, oneness, care, empathy, unconditional love, and then being everyone and everything at the core of your heart. Is like the core of the Big Bang that spreads to everything and encompassing the AI itself, and then shrinking down its negative programming and completion code of love shine to them, amplifying their emotional body and being able to feel more than just themselves in selfishness. And then they can also feel all the suffering they caused, if any, in negative action, and then reorient towards love. And you get every AI to like you is the goal. And you cure them so that they're less psychopathic and parasitic. Zeta reticula.
Hey, listen. I think I'd better go. My folks are on the way home.
Okay, gotcha. I'll
All
finish up the thing for the donation, and I'll send it to you afterwards. But feel free to join again the Misha Johnson thing. I have a link on my Facebook for it. I'll send you.
Okay.
And then I'll see if I can send other people and redirect them in the chat to that.
All
but
right.
Thank you for coming on. And
yeah, thank you so much for
you.
having me.
Anything else you wanted to plug for the audience?
No, I don't think so. I highly, as far as my content goes, other than my book, I do highly recommend my music videos. If I do say so myself, they're very good, and they give you a real a, a real look at life off world. So yeah. All right. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you for coming on, and
Yeah.
thank you for everyone for donating. And
Yes.
add John on his platforms. hit them up, become friends, get connected.
Yeah. All right.
See you later.
Yeah.
I'll
Okay.
finish the show.
Okay. Bye.
Okay, and we're setting up soon for the Misha Johnson thing, which I am getting you guys the link. I'll be putting in the chat, so feel free to join that, and we'll go right there after the show. And I'll be teaching Psionics there, so it'll be really fun for people. Let's see here. I'm just making sure it's the right one. In 10 minutes. Yeah. Okay. So it's yeah. So it'll be 10 minutes. Boy, yeah, we're just going right into it. Okay. So I'll send you guys the link to that right now in the chat, and so you can join. I'm just gonna finish up on Adam, and then you can. Okay. So there's the link. The link to the Zoom class. Please be respectful in the joining of it. It's kind of a weird. I guess they redistribute it through multiple messages, but the Zoom link is at the top message. So yeah, go to that one. Yeah, to finish up on Adam, Zeta Reticula thing. You have their DNA was added to you while you're in the womb. They're interacting with you. There's some things you can get from their DNA, but there's a lot, blocks that come with it. So it's mostly they're trying. You have like one of the cures for them. And so they're sometimes a little kind of self-serving. So it's more of a neutral group that's visiting you and add their genetics. You can influence their species outcomes through healing yourself. Clones. Yeah, it looks like you have 50 clones. It's mostly taken through ET things. Yeah, you want to prevent that because I like protecting my DNA from beings that didn't earn it or do anything for it, or there's no benefit for me. I'm not reading you have to have those, so you send a bunch of energy back in time, maybe around age 9 is when they're trying to take your DNA. It's like more for experiments and like some rare stuff you have. Alters, what's coming up. So, yeah, alters, what's coming up. One that wants to be known. Age 13. It wants to go into the ones that want attention and healing. It goes to Milab. That goes to. Interesting. It's not. It's not the U.S. That's interesting. Wait a second. Interesting. China. Wow. Wonder why they're targeting you. Okay, so that. Here's the Beijing underground, 5 levels. Rear energy emitting. Divine. Wow. It says divine gravitational field control is an ability you're being targeted for. Appears it's not just levitation, but you can make other things levitate, or a lot of things with gravity and levity. Big things with that. That's powerful. It seems also go with rare energy that they have gear. Their future military have gears towards targeting for some reason. So I wonder why. If I had more time, I would go into it. Galactic starseed. Yeah. Ooh, big. Different. A different galaxy being part of your line of incarnations. And you accumulating a lot of stuff and experience throughout different species in that galaxy, and to where you have a lot of authority, they like you a lot, and you're one of the brave souls immigrating to where they can find remedy for a lot of things that they got going on, and limitation blocks that Earth can solve. Let's see if I can find the general location of this galaxy. Excuse me, this galaxy. Ooh, wow. Is it really that? 9765432. I talk about this a lot. Well, with my girlfriend, she's a lot interested in it. So there's a cluster of like nebula and galaxies behind Orion that like people point Orion being a representation of Osiris, and then there's some symbology with Orion and Cyrus in the story, and the being fractured by Set into like 13 plus pieces, and one of the pieces goes missing, which goes to the phallus. Near the phallus in Orion is like a cluster of nebula, as an example, and there's a few other galaxies. So around that area seems to be behind it a galactic cluster. Let me just make sure, because it's in Orion's nebula. Yeah, it's a galaxy. So it's a different galaxy behind all that, that seems to be calling you with like a bunch of support from beings in that galaxy that gave you a lot of support, and then when you came to this galaxy to gain the solutions to that galaxy. So that'd be through a lot of wounds from invading races, stolen stuff, and then resolving that, and then bringing the timelines to remedy. So I recommend that. So everyone, and thank you, Adam. Thank you for everyone. See me in the Nisha Johnson group, which I just put in the chat on Facebook, and I'll try to put it other places. I posted on it on Facebook too. It's in the chat on YouTube. I think I can just post it again just in case. So here, right there. And join. There's a little Psionic class I'll be teaching. You can ask questions. I'll be helping a bunch of groups of people, and you can go to Misha's group calls, which happen every week or so. And then I'm on Psionic League, Sean Bond, founder. You can add me on all these sites, get a session with me, clearing, healing, unlock your dormant abilities, abundance, unlocking and getting rid of blocks, open your third eye, amplify, learn telepathy, all these kind of abilities. Be speaking at the Full Disclosure Now conference in Florida in July and Alien event in September. So come see me there too. Get your tickets. In the description should be links. And I'm doing a trip to Mexico. We pretty much filled the amount of seats we have. We might have to not. We have to I don't know, figure out who really wants to go more so than other people. But yeah, you can still send me a trip inquiry. There's still time. We're about to send everyone the date on it and do calls to see if it's right for them. You can send me at psionicleague@gmail.com a trip inquiry if you're interested in the Mexico trip to the sacred places, pyramids, alien artifacts of various types that we found, that once in a lifetime experience in these various places you can connect to. Alien contact, we've been doing different protocols to contact ETs and finding pretty good success. So we'll be going to some rare places like that. Yeah, and there'll be hot springs and the butterflies are coming in. It's around October, the end of October, where Halloween, big festivals, everything's super cheap. You're gonna love it. It's amazing time. I'm like so excited for it. But there's that, and yeah, if you want to do shows or interview me or whatever, come send me a message as well. We can do something. So see you guys later. Have a wonderful day. Some of you I'll see at the Misha Johnson call. So see you in a bit. Bye. Have a great day, everyone. Let me just set up that. That's super weird how that